Hello, test mic 1 2 1 2 test mic. Hello. Check po natin. Magana yung sounds. Hello, test mic 1 2 1 2 test mic. Hello. Alright. Gumagana. Alright, so good morning once again. This is your teacher, Ton Wins of Ton Wins TV. And today we'll be talking about a new lesson for your fourth quarter. Now, before I get to start, I'd like to announce first some few important information about the possibility of what will happen in the next few days in relation to the ECQ. Now, it was decided by the administration and along with the Department of the Middle High that we'll be mostly ending our fourth quarter lessons by first week, or the most will be second week of May. Now, I've decided based on the Kuiper activities that you have, no, it may show there how many days left, because I decided to end up our lesson exactly on May 14. Now, looking at the possible lessons, no, left lessons. Excuse me, I'm having my rhinitis. Possible lessons that we have, no, left. I think I need to at least send 3 lessons or 4 lessons more next week, starting. Excuse. Starting what we have today. Today I'll be sending one again on Sunday, and maybe on Monday, Wednesday, and last day by Friday. Or let's try to see, no, for the next few weeks and try to budget that time. Now, as I mentioned, as we have mentioned, or as I mentioned, no, by those times that the lesson will be ending, no, the days left will be the time for us to start computing your grades for the fourth quarter. Now, we already have, we already have, we are done with the first to the third quarter lesson, and in that case, that was before the COVID pandemic. That's the reason why those grades are already there. However, for the fourth quarter, no, it was a time when we suspended the class, and we didn't meet each other face to face already. That's the reason why, I'm making this video for you to be able to understand more the lesson. However, the catch would be is that, no, for the days after May 14, that would be your days for you to complete the activities. Now, it's better for you to I encourage you to not anymore wait for those times, no, for you to complete the activities. If you have the time today, slowly and surely, no, you try to answer those activities that we have, because then again, for science, I will not be requiring you to pass something physically and pass it at school. However, all of the things that I'm sending online are the things that you are required to finish. Now, encourage your other classmates to those who are online to answer or accomplish those activities that I'm sending you. If there are problems with their accounts that they cannot log in or what, no, you can PM me. You can send me a private message that I can tend to your mga nawala mga forgotten password or whatever that is. That's problems that you encounter for logging in with your accounts. So yun po, no, yung so let's help each other out for the next few days. Just be patient with this one, because at the end, no, we'll be ending this one, and let's try to end this one strong. All right, so the last time that we had for our activity was all about your land masses and your water bodies. Now this time, no, for us to be able to complete this one, is for us to talk about what's something that is also so land more on is the solid. When you talk about your water bodies, it's the liquid part. So let's talk about the gas part of the Earth. No? So that would be today, we talk about your atmosphere. So atmosphere is actually the gaseous part of the Earth. No, this is actually the layer that's actually covering us. No, from that's the one that is in between the outer space and the inner, yung part ng inner Earth, no, or the surface of the Earth, no. Yun yung parang yung the layer that separates us from the outer space to the above surface of the Earth. Now, for atmosphere, let's get to see the objectives. All right, so define the atmosphere. What is the atmosphere? Identify the different layers of the atmosphere. Describe the features of each layer of the atmosphere. And lastly, discuss the roles of atmosphere in sustaining life on Earth. Actually, the fourth part is actually so interesting because then again, no, if we don't know much about our atmosphere, then we cannot show, no, we cannot appreciate more of how it actually helps us, no, especially for living things on Earth to survive, is for us to have a healthy atmosphere. Now, what is an atmosphere? The atmosphere is actually, again, no, it's the layer that actually separates us from the outer space to the topmost part of the Earth. There's actually an envelope that surrounds an envelope of gas that surrounds Earth. So your atmosphere is actually still, no, held by your gravity, because your atmosphere is actually created by tiny molecules of gas that is actually still being pulled by your gravity. That's the reason why, with the different concentrations of your tiny gas molecules that is found in your in your atmosphere, we have different specific layers that are found in the atmosphere mismo. So atmosphere is a general term. However, there are different spheres there, or specific mga different layers there in the atmosphere that's actually has its different roles and descriptions, no, that as we go on later. So what makes Earth livable is because of the atmosphere, no. When you talk about your spiritual side of this, or the religion side of this one, no, it is only Earth that is created by God, that makes it livable or habitable by people. Now that's the reason why when you side more on the religious or the spiritual side of the truth, no, it is only Earth that is habitable by man and other living things. However, for scientists, no, since we get to see that Earth is actually, they say that's actually being damaged already as the time goes on because of human activities, no, we are still the perpetrators or the suspect of the damage of the Earth. No, that's the reason why for scientists they're trying to find other planets that are found in the atmosphere in the solar system that they think can be again livable. However, no, what's so unique with Earth is that, no, the atmosphere actually supports life. No, we have different gases that supports our breathing, not only for us but also for animals and even for plants. All right. So we go on. We have what you call, when you talk about the study of the atmosphere, no, we talk that would be your meteorology. All right. It's a branch of Earth science which deals with the study of the atmosphere and corresponding weather patterns. So, when you talk about those people who are studying the typhoon, the season, weather, and what's happening in the atmosphere of the Earth, is actually that branch in science, or specifically in Earth science, would be your meteorology. Right? So, people who are actually studying meteorology are what you call your meteorologists. Now, here, no, for the Philippines, we have a certain agency, that deals with climate and weather and what is actually happening on Earth, which is what you call your PAG-ASA. So, PAG-ASA is actually an acronym that's actually the P, the A, the G, the A, the S, and the A has its meaning. So, this is your Philippine Atmospherical, Geophysical, Astronomical Services Administration. So, try to find this one in Google for you to be able to see the spelling of those different terms, because they're actually scientific lingos, no? So, once again, meaning of PAG-ASA is your Philippine Atmospherical, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration. If you get to see this, PAG-ASA is actually under a department of the government called DOST, or your Department of Science and technology. So, the mother department would be your DOST, no? And under the DOST would be your Pag-asa. Because along with Pag-asa, we have different other agencies still, no? Say from your Pag-asa, we have your PVOX, or you have different stuff there. Right? So, when you talk about atmosphere, talk about the agency that studies, or the agency, in the Philippine agency that's related to your, what's happening in the atmosphere is your Pag-asa. Alright, so, we go now to the next. Alright, so the roles, no? If you get to see, animals breathe in oxygen through respiration. Not only animals, but also even human beings. And at the same time, plants, no, also breathe in carbon dioxide through photosynthesis. Now, what happens here? What happens here is that there is an exchange of gases. Alright, so we humans need oxygen. However, no, we exhale carbon dioxide. So plants inhale carbon dioxide, which actually the ones that are being exhaled by humans. So yung binubuga natin po pupunta sa halaman kasi kailangan nila yon. So yun yung nilalanghap nila. So yung paglanghap nila, yung binubuga naman ng plants or oxygen, yun naman yung kailangan natin para langhapin. Alright, so that's the reason why, no, there is actually an exchange of plants and animals and human being in terms of exchange of gases. That's the reason why for human being, no, for us to be able to breathe in fresh air, we need more trees, more plants for us to survive better on Earth, is because, no, there is actually a balance of these two different organisms, or three organisms, animals, humans, and plants, no, for us to be able to survive and have a healthy atmosphere and environment as a whole. Alright. Nitrogen and oxygen gases make it possible for energy to move such sound. That's the reason why when you studied sound last time, no, under physics, no, we know that sound is actually a mechanical wave that needs a medium for them to travel. And these tiny gas molecules like your oxygen and your nitrogen are actually the ones responsible for transmitting those sound. That's the reason why even at the atmosphere we can still speak. No, we can hear each other. However, as I've mentioned last time many times in the example, no, when we talk about your sound before, no, even if you're going to shout on top of your voices outside or in the atmosphere, nobody can hear you, because then atmosphere is a vacuum. There's no gas, nitrogen or gas. Nitrogen or other gas molecules that are found in our outer space. They're actually the medium for the sound to travel and for us to be able to hear sound there. That's the reason why, once again, if you're going to shout, no, on top of your voices in the outer space, nobody can hear you. Excuse me. Alright, so we continue with this one, no? So what else are the other roles of the atmosphere on Earth? Now, you get to see that there's a layer here in the atmosphere. That's actually the one that protects us from UV. Now, as I mentioned last time, when you talk about your light, no, UV is actually the one that is after your visible light. And UV is actually a very strong electromagnetic wave that can penetrate our skin and cause sunburn, or worse, what you call your skin cancer. However, the amazing God has created a layer that actually protects us from the harmful rays of the sun, which is what you call your ozone layer. So later on, let's try to see which layer in the atmosphere is the ozone layer found, no? And because of the atmosphere, no, it shields us from the effects of those ultraviolet radiations that hindi masyadong tatama sa atin, na parang nakakakos na kung ganun lang naman pala na wala tayong atmosphere and we're living on Earth and we are actually directed, no, natatamaan tayo directly from the harmful rays of the sun, then marami na sana sa atin ang nag-sunburn at na skin cancer. Alright, so another role, no, another really role is actually your atmosphere, actually a protection or a shield. And lastly, no, I'm sorry the numberings are kind of jammed here. We have this one, 1, 2, this is 3 and 4. Right? The atmosphere keeps the temperature of the Earth at a suitable range through greenhouse effect. Now later on I will explain your greenhouse effect, no, because when you talk about your greenhouse effect, the connotation of people is that this is something that is harmful or something that is disadvantageous. However, when you talk about your greenhouse effect, no, think of those ones that we have right now here in Cordillera, wherein there are many small buildings are actually what you call your greenhouse. No? So, greenhouse po. So, ano bang nangyayari dito sa greenhouse effect? That is something that I will explain maybe two topics from now. No? So, what are those gases that are related to your greenhouse effect, and what is the effect of the greenhouse effect? Alright? Let's continue some more. And lastly, we have the state of the atmosphere also dictates weather pattern on Earth. At some point, no, in the atmosphere, it is where your different wind activities or air activities happen, no? They're affected by pressure, they are affected by the altitude, they are affected by the temperature, which actually are causing those different their air activities in the atmosphere that causes these different weather patterns. Kaya meron pong typhoon, meron pong thunderstorm, meron pong different stuff. Why is it that at this point in time of the year, maulan, itong time na ito naman, bakit ito mainit masyado? So those are different action. So what's happening there is because of the state of the atmosphere, which dictates, no, kung kumusta yung weather pattern ng Earth. Alright, so we continue with the composition of the atmosphere. So when you talk about your atmosphere, you know, as I mentioned, I think already have mentioned this one also before. While we really need oxygen, no, we as a human being and other other organisms need oxygen. Just be mindful that oxygen is just the number 2 most abundant most abundant gases found in the atmosphere. The most pinaka number 1 dito is your nitrogen, which composed of 78%, no? Tapos oxygen is actually 21%. So you're going to add the 78 the 78 and the 21 will give you 99%. And the last of those 1% are actually mix of different other gases na po. No, so makita natin dito in the pie chart that the light blue is nitrogen, the semi-light blue is your oxygen, the yellow is argon, is actually it's a noble gas, no? You have your carbon dioxide, which is actually a slight line in the pie, and other gases hindi na masyadong makita dito. But this is just to tell you that then again, no, the important gas for human being and animals to breathe in is actually just number 2, most abundant one here on the atmosphere of the Earth. So, with that composition, let's go now and talk about your layers of the Earth. Now, you should be able to know the different layers of the Earth and how they are arranged, no, from the one that is nearest to the Earth and farthest to the Earth. Now, that it is actually divided, no, based on the altitude and the height above sea level. That's the reason why when you talk about your altitude, this is actually the height from above sea level. That's the reason why you get to encounter some other terms like your KMASL. So that would be kilometer. Then the ASL would tell you it stands for your above sea level. So when you try to climb a mountain, no, that mountain, the top of the mountain has a certain altitude, no? It's actually above sea level. So ilan pong feet yun, ilan pong meters yun, or ilan bang kilometers yun, that's actually the one that is being meant by your altitude. So just like for example in this slide that you have here, your troposphere is around 10 kilometers above sea level. So yung sea level po natin, think of La Union. When you are in La Union and yung daan sa La Union, nakikita natin naka-level tayo sa tubig. So that is your sea level. So anything above it, no, so that would be the 0, and anything above it, how many meters going up, no, that's actually your altitude. So we have your troposphere, your stratosphere, your mesosphere, your thermosphere, and your exosphere. So how many layers do we have? We have 5 different layers of the atmosphere. Now let's get to talk more about each atmosphere. Now, however, I'm not going to specifically read everything here. Just get the specific points. I'll leave the reading to you, right? As your part also in the learning process. Alright, so when you talk about your atmosphere, you have your temperature gradient. So, in the temperature gradient, you get to see that there are actually changing of different temperatures as you go higher and higher above the atmosphere. Alright, so nandito po makikita natin, no? At the troposphere is actually around mga 20 ito. So, going back here, it goes around mga negative 40. Tapos, steady pataas for your troposphere. Then, the stratosphere, from the troposphere, it exits now there. And it goes up. And you get to see, no? That as it enters your stratosphere, umiinit ulit. Tapos, pag lumampas naman kay Mesosphere, lumalamig ulit. Tapos tumataas naman papunta kay Thermosphere, umiinit ulit. So you get to see here that those are actually the patterns or what you call your temperature gradient. Yung pag iba-iba po na mga temperature as the layers in the different layers of the atmosphere. Now be mindful that in every layer of the Earth, the one that actually meets them in the middle are actually, let's say for example, the one in your troposphere and your stratosphere, the one in the middle is what you call your tropopause. So it's just trying to put the name pose here at the end and get the first two syllables of the layer below it. So troposphere, tropo, tapos lagyan naman ng pose. So tropopause po yung in between your tropopause and your troposphere and your stratosphere. The same goes here. So in the middle of your stratosphere and your mesosphere is actually your stratopause. And this goes up, no? So you know the pattern already. Let's talk about the first layer. So when you talk about your troposphere, this is actually the layer that is closer to the Earth, and 75% of this molecules here, gas molecules here, or even your dust, no, are actually found here that are actually pulled by your gravity. So sa troposphere po is actually where your different patterns of your weather is happening. As you get to see in your troposphere, this is where your clouds are. Yeah? So pag cloudy dyan, pag puti, maganda or fair weather, pag walang clouds are actually okay, no? If you try to travel and rode an airplane before, as it ascends, no, going to the atmosphere, no, dumadaan siya sa troposphere. Dito sa troposphere po, ito yung saan yung mga clouds are. Dito yung nangyayari yung mga iba-ibang hangin na nangyayari dito. So, to be honest, your troposphere is actually maraming mga air and wind activities dyan na nangyayari, no, na it's not advisable for airplanes to travel there. Is because there is what you call your turbulence, no, yung mga pagiging magulo ng hangin doon. It causes a rattling activity there on the airplane that is happening. So hindi nila advisable po na umakyat sa mag-travel through the troposphere. Alright? As it goes to the next layer, no, increases. As the altitude increases, the temperature troposphere decreases. As you get to see in the temperature gradient po, yun po yung pattern doon. So, habang tumataas ka sa troposphere po, lumalamig. Right? All weather changes and patterns happen in this layer, as I mentioned earlier. Alright. So, as we go on, the boundary that separates your troposphere, which is next from the next layer, tropopause. So, as I mentioned, ito na yun, no? Hindi ko na ulitin. So, punta tayo sa next layer. Talk about your stratosphere. So, your stratosphere is the second layer of the atmosphere and where most of your volcanic dust accumulates in this layer. So, if we get to witness in the television, no, the one that happened last time with the Taal volcano, no, wherein there are ashes and volcanic dust that's being evacuated or na binuga nung Taal volcano that time, no, yung mga naiwan na residue niya actually stayed in the stratosphere. Now, the stratosphere experience less turbulence. When you talk about turbulence, ito po yung mga magulong hangin na paiba-iba yung direction po nila sa layer na yon that will cause rattling, no, pag shaking ng eroplano pag nagta-travel doon sa layer na nito. Now, that's the reason why, as I mentioned, no, in the stratosphere there is less of these turbulent activities happening. That's the reason why for weather balloons, no, and even for airplanes to travel, they are actually advised, no, and safe to travel on the stratosphere kasi mas stable po yung ang hangin dito, kaya lesser yung turbulence po, kaya smooth po yung airplane ride. So you get the question, sir, ano ba tong weather balloon? Ito yung pinapalipad natin dati, no? They're actually is being used by Pag-asa for Japan. We have your, I think, JICA. For United States, they have also their, I forgot the name of the United States equivalent of Pag-asa, wherein they use this weather balloon that they let it float on the stratosphere to show to monitor the weather patterns in the area. So yun po. Now next one would be your alright, sorry, when you go to your stratosphere, now this is where your ozone layer is actually found, no? A special region which protects Earth from harmful sun rays is found in this layer. So sa stratosphere po makikita natin yung importanteng layer that actually protects us from the UV radiations or the harmful rays of the sun. Now ozone is actually a form of oxygen which absorb UV rays from the sun. Our oxygen, the one that we get to breathe in, are actually what if you're going to put that one into a chemical sense, that is what you call your O2, oxygen, 2 molecules of oxygen. So imagine an O tapos may 2. So yun yung oxygen molecule, or two oxygen molecules that we get to breathe in. But for ozone, no, this is what you call your O3. So 3 molecules of oxygen is actually the one that is nangyayari po dito sa ozone. Now, a really fun fact when I get to know this one, no? Do you know that your photocopying machine actually emits ozone? This actually adding ozone molecules to this ozone layer that we have that actually protects us more from the harmful rays of the sun. Now, before with the human activities, no, or even right now, no, because of human activities, air pollution. Now, what happens is that this ozone layer actually, no, na-damage to the point that there was this hole that they get to find in the northern part of what they call this one, northern part of the Earth. So, ito ng Arctic area. So, pag ito yung Earth, no, kasi nakaslanting yung ikot ng Earth, no. So, dito sa area, alam natin na puro ice yan. Now, they get to see that there is actually a hole of the ozone layer there, that whenever there's no any more protection that is being shielding us from the harmful rays of the sun, what happens is that it's hotter that way, to the point that the sun rays, the UV rays, actually goes directly into the surface of the Earth, that makes it hotter. And sadly, at that part wherein it was yung saan yung butas is actually a glacier area, or saan yung mga yung ice natin, yung mga iceberg natin. So what happens is that if those icebergs and ice, no, in the polar ice caps that we have in the northern part of the Earth, no, will start to be hit, matamaan ng direct UV rays from the sun, masyadong mainit yun to the point that there are ice actually melts. So anong mangyayari po pag nagmelt yung ice natin? That's the reason why, no, yung nangyayari dyan is that pag nagmelt yung mga ice natin doon sa North Pole po natin, ang mangyayari doon, mag-iiba po yung simoy ng hangin in terms of the temperature, and no, so it will affect your weather patterns. And at the same time, no, as your ice will melt, madadagdagan po yung tubig, yung height ng tubig ng dagat. So let's say for example, pag nag-increase yun ng mga, let's say, dahil nagmelt yung mga ice doon sa polar ice cap, so affected lahat ng ocean sa buong mundo. So tataas po yung tubig. No, think of La Union na ganito kataas yung tubig ngayon. So if you're living near the coastline, no, pag yun dahil nagmelt yung polar ice cap, tataas yung tubig, baka malulunod yung bahay nyo na, kasi yung dagat ngayon tumaas yung tubig. So all sea levels will be affected, no. Kaya that's the reason why they get to say that Brooklyn, which is actually found in New Jersey, no, near New York in United States, is actually a very low-lying island. That's the reason why if water or sea level will increase, malulunod po yung buong Brooklyn. So, anong mangyayari doon sa buong island na yun? So, that's the reason why, no, we need to protect the ozone layer. However, there was this news that I get to read, no, in the social media, wherein because of the coronavirus pandemic and lesser activities of pollution, air pollution that is happening, no, they say that the ozone layer actually healed, and yung butas na yun nawala. So nag-close ulit yung butas kasi siguro nadagdagan ulit ng mga ozone na mga molecules, no, covering the hole, and yun, no, naprotektahan, no. So if that would be that would be not a fake news or totoong news po yun, ay isang magandang balita po yun, no, for us to be protected from the UV rays of the sun. Let's continue some more. Alright, when you talk about those different layers there, so less turbulence, turbulence is a sudden or violent movement of air, kaya po lesser turbulence dito, much better dito, dito po dumadaan yung may aeroplano, no, above the sky, above the clouds, because sa mga cloudy areas po, no, wild po yung mga hangin dyan, no, so violent po yung movement ng air dyan, which cause turbulence and shaking of the airplane while traveling. Alright, let's go some more. So, yung boundary stratopose po yung tawag doon. Alright, let's go now to another layer. We call your mesosphere. Now, as you go to your grade 8, no, pag-aralan natin about your meteors. However, in your mesosphere, this is the third layer. It has no gases that absorbs UV rays from the sun. So, pag pumunta ka at lumampas ka dito po, ang mangyayari po dito is masusunog ka. That's the reason why anybody is going far or away from this one, or even in the outer space, no, meron po silang tinatawag na yung suit ng astronaut. That's actually to protect them from the UV rays of the sun. Kasi nga, no, makita natin na even their helmet, no, yung screen nila, yung mukha nila dito is actually tinted. Kasi nga, pag hindi tinted yon at direct UV rays, no, pwedeng i-melt yung mata mo at mabubulag ka. So, wala na pong protection dito sa mesosphere. Now, as you get to see there in your temperature gradient in the mesosphere, as you go higher and higher, it becomes also colder and colder. So, very cold layer are around negative 90 degrees. Alright, so, dito po dumadaan yung mga meteors natin. And this is where we get to see your meteors actually shine. Hindi shine. Natawag na term natin. Dito sila nag-start na magpa-fire up. Because actually, if you get to see, no, your meteoroids, no, meteoroids that are actually found in the atmosphere, in the outer space, may pass through the layers of the Earth. However, usually, no, whenever they hit the mesosphere, dyan na po sila parang nagpa-fire up. And makikita na mo sila, yung mga meteoroids na yun, nagiging what you call your meteors. So, parang ganon. If you get to see some other spaceship landings, no, itong mga astronauts that came from the outer space, no, meron silang mission doon. Then as they go back to the Earth, no, you get to see that the capsule that they are actually in, as they go back to the Earth, actually fires up is because they're trying to pass through the mesosphere. Malamig dyan, pero grabe yung friction ng hangin dyan. That's the reason why they fire up. Alright, let's see some more. The mesosphere is a thin layer of air enough to decelerate meteors entering the Earth. Actually, this sphere is actually a protection from the Earth is because meteoroids, no? Meteoroids po yung tawag natin sa mga bato-bato na nakikita natin nagpo-float, no, in the outer space. That they may be pulled by the gravity, no, of the Earth. Kasi minsan, kaya ng gravity pang umabot sa mga batong yun. Na pag umabot sa batong yun, no, mahihila sila paloob. However, nakakatakot yun, di ba? Stones or rocks from the outer space goes inside the Earth. And in that case, no, paano pag naglanding yun sa lupa? Alright? However, you get to see yung mesosphere na itong mga meteoroids naman, they are actually their sizes are enough that they're actually burn up and fire up in the mesosphere, because your mesosphere is actually another protection that whenever they fire up yung mga meteoroids na yun and become meteors, no, they disintegrate and become dust, and as soon as yung parang bumababa and baba sila and they go near the Earth, no, dust na lang po yung nangyayari doon. Mga hindi na natin mapansin, no, those are actually meteor dust na lang pong nahuhulog sa Earth. So, yun po yung nangyayari nung ginagawa ni mesosphere. The thin layer adds friction to the mesosphere, producing a burning tail of shooting stars. Alright, so ito po yung nangyayari dito. So I think last month we have your meteor shower, the Lyrian meteor shower. It's around my birthday, around 22, 23, 24. Those the skies during those times, no. So Hindi ko alam kung merong nakakuha sa inyo ng meteor shower during that time. It's a Lyrid meteor shower. So, meron po tayong different meteor showers happening different months and they have names. Pag-aaralan po natin yan when you reach grade 9. Alright? So, somewhere here, no? Again, hindi ko na-mention ito. That's the one that separates your stratosphere from your mesosphere. Ay, so ba? No, your mesosphere and the one on top which is your thermosphere, right? So, mesopause ang tawag doon. Let's go somewhere higher, no? So, we have your thermosphere. This is the biggest atmospheric layer. It has a thinner layer of gas that absorbs solar energy with shorter wavelengths. This is actually where the solar flares, no, in reaction of this thermosphere, yung solar flares from the sun, that's actually with the reaction of the thermosphere that actually creates a greenish looking color that's happening in the northern part of the earth, wherein they actually notice this one during the night. This is what you call your Aurora Borealis. This is actually a plasma state of matter, wherein yung Aurora Borealis, a greenish part that's happening here, actually reaction of the solar flares and the thermosphere. This is one of my bucket list, no, that someday that I can take photographs of me. Background po yung Aurora Borealis. Siguro, no, pag makakaipon ka, makapunta ka sa United States, makapunta ka sa Alaska area, no, Canada, I think actually pwede mo makita din doon at certain periods of the year wherein Aurora Borealis happens. Alright, so ito sa northern part po ito ng Earth nangyayari po. So hindi po Philippines being found and near the equator, hindi po visible ang Aurora Borealis, only in the northern part of the globe. Alright, we go on. So in your thermosphere, no, temperature can go around 1,000 degrees Celsius. So as cold as it was in the Mesosphere, no, it's actually also as hot as you get to see experience in the thermosphere. 1,000 degrees Celsius, no, you will really burn up here and melt here. Just think of this temperature of the red hot metal, no, whenever yung mga panday po gumagawa ng mga kutsilyo, o when you get to see that metal that they burn up in the furnace, tapos the red hot, no, that's actually around 1,000 degrees Celsius, but it's relatively cold because of few gas molecules, they say. So in your thermosphere, no, meron tayong tinatawag doon a layer of charged gas particles in the thermosphere, bounces off radio waves from different parts of the world. So, tawag po natin dyan, specific under thermosphere is your ionosphere. Because when you talk about charged particles, we call that one ions. And from that layer wherein ions are found, are actually what you call your ionosphere. So, it's actually where your radio waves or your electromagnetic waves are actually really very excited, no, they are actually really very active. We're in electromagnetic waves because of these different ions, where these radio waves or different waves actually are they are really maganda po yung reception dun. Kaya yung mga different satellites po natin are actually found in this area. So, space shuttle, ano pa nangyari dito? Yung International Space Station, yung nagbabantay po sa atin kung kumusta yung Earth, yung mga weather patterns, yung mga gadget po ng NASA, gadget po ng mga European countries, their space station. Chinese space station actually really marami na po sila sa sky. Meron po tayong isa, I think, pero pinababa natin by the name of Diwata, I think is the name. So, meron po tayong Philippines din na maliit na pinapunta natin dyan sa labas. So, nandun po yung mga space station natin na pinapa-float natin dyan, no? So, tawag po natin dyan your ionosphere. So, as I mentioned last time about your Aurora Borealis, is actually a display of glows in the night sky in the polar areas, which occurs when charged particles emitted during the solar flare penetrates Earth's magnetic field and collides with molecules in the ionosphere. So, sa ionosphere din po nangyayari dun. In general, this is where your thermosphere is. So, it's actually plasma. And plasma is a special state, actually the fourth state of matter, no, aside from solid, liquid, and gas. This is actually happening here, wherein yung plasma po kasi is really magnetic, no. When there is magnetic activities is happening with the one that is being emitted by the sun and the one that is being emitted by the earth, there will be reaction to the point that with the reaction of the different magnetic field causes electrical activity doon po, kaya po nag-glow po yung sky dito. Actually, it glows around mga greenish con. Ito po yung itsura nito, no? So, tawag po natin dyan Aurora Borealis, but for the normal term, we call this one your northern lights because then again, sa northern part lang po ito nakikita. So, tayo po sa Philippines, we are found near the equator, hindi po natin to makita. So, saan natin makita to? Iceland, Greenland, Alaska, yung sa North Pole, makikita nyo ito. Right? So amazing if you get to take photographs of this one, no? One of the bucket list that I want to isa kong gustong mangyari na sana before everything else maka-witness ako ng ganito. Alright, let's go some more higher, no? So thermosphere po, meron tayong tinatawag na Kármán line is found here, which is visible marker which serves as the boundary between the Earth's atmosphere and the outer space. So, Kármán line po, yung boundary na po, no? Wala talagang actually line dyan, but it's actually around 62 miles above sea level, no? Wherein, this actually now, pwede na natin sabihin na you are actually now in the outer space. This is named after a person named Theodor von Kármán. Alright, so, yun. So, Kármán line po, nandito po sa may thermosphere banda. So, mayroon pong part sa thermosphere na sa medyo baba niya is still inside the Earth's atmosphere. However, meron din siyang part doon po sa thermosphere na considered as your outer space already. As we go on, no, there is what you call your LEOs or your low Earth orbit satellites are found. So, yun nga, yung mga different space stations natin are found here. LEO is a satellite orbit characterized by its altitude around 160 to 2,000 kilometers above Earth's surface. Alright, so dito po yung mga different space stations po natin nakikita natin. Alright, so sa thermosphere po, here, International Space Station or ISS is found here. Tama ako. Kasi hindi ko pa na-scan lahat ito. Pero, as I've mentioned, meron po tayong microsatellite na pinadala natin doon din sa thermosphere, which is actually the Diwata 1. The PH first microsatellite is a low Earth orbit satellite. Si Diwata. So, this is actually manned by the people in the DOST, specifically in Pag-asa. No? Ito, makikita natin na yung logo ng yung Pag-asa doon and DOST, I think, and I'm not sure with the other logos there, but you get to see the flag of the Philippines and Japan. So this is, I think, a joint tulong-tulong po ng Philippines and Japan in terms of the creation of this one, no? Para at least meron din po yung Philippines ng own satellite po natin, no? Hindi tayo umaasa sa ibang countries. What else? Sa Exosphere, nothing much because this is already your outer space, no? Outermost layer around 700 to 10,000 kilometers from Earth's surface with no clear boundaries. It continues into the outer space. So, objects found in the Exosphere are what you call your mga higher ones, no? Jason 3 satellite. Ano po tong name ng ito? So, these are actually the ones that are being manned by rich countries, no? Na meron silang budget for them to be able to still these are actually mga satellites, are actually mga composed of different mga cameras, no, that actually was trying to study what is happening in the outer space, trying to determine kung may bang mga different activities happening in the outer space, maybe new planets, new stuff that is actually found in the outer space that they're trying to study. Meron din even they're try to monitor what is happening, what is happening outside Earth, and even they can see from the topmost of the Earth and see us doon sa surface kung kumusta yung Earth. So these are different layers of the atmosphere. So I hope that you get to know the sequence of the different layers, ano yung mga so special about the different layers, what are the different important stuff that are found in the different layers, ozone layer, yung ionosphere, what's happening there. Alright, sa mga ganon. So those are the ones that are actually the point of this lesson. So let's go to the key points. So basahin nyo lang po ito, different key points, and let's try to see your check your understanding here. So, from the given below, label the layers of the atmosphere. So, andito po. However, try natin dito. Sa challenge yourself. On a fairy day, why do you think the sky appears blue in the morning and red-orange towards the afternoon? This is actually a really very early question. Because I think I'm reserving this question for me, for you, for you grade 7 to go to grade 8, and I will be actually assigning this one to you as your homework, and try to research about the answer of why is it that during the midday or morning until the midday, bakit blue yung sky? However, as it goes in the afternoon, bakit nagiging orange? Or reddish orange, or ito yung kulay ng sunset. If you get to see, I'm really a very fan of the sunset photography. Those are the ones that I get to upload most of the time, because then again, it takes patience for you to wait for the sunset. However, that patience actually pays off whenever you get to see already the changes of the color from orange to yellow to magenta, or the combination of the blue sky. Sometimes it gets purplish. Bakit kaya nag-iiba? Bakit kaya ang ganda ng kulay? Tapos during the ang puro blue lang pagtanghali. So, yun po yung question dito. So, as early as now, before going to grade 8, siguro dapat alam niyo na yung answer nito, kasi meron akong diskarte kung paano niyo gawin yung homework dito. So, I think that would be it for this lesson, So, the next lesson will be scheduled on Sunday, which is related to this one, What is actually the specific ones that are related to your patterns of the next lesson dito, yung mga weather patterns in relation to your atmosphere. So, without further much ado, this will be the end lesson for today, and I hope that you get to enjoy watching this video, and you continue to still help each other out. Kindly please tell your other classmates to accomplish different quicker activities that they have, that I get to send, and in that way, mas earlier po na ma-compute yung grades nila, so mas easy po natin na ma-release agad yung card. Right? So without further much ado, thank you again for listening. Good morning and God bless you.